Hi, I'm Mex, your host for Expedition Maker. Now let's get crafty.
The art of making is timeless. It takes courage, resilience, trust, and a splash, or two or three, of creativity. As Jews, we know how important it is to persevere and stay flexible. As people, we know this year has been quite the, well, let's call it what it is, a shit show. With the impact of the pandemic on the arts, we decided to create a remote competition for Jewish creatives to challenge and expand their artistry and imagination. Each week, our makers will receive a challenge prompt based on the Jewish calendar and have 6 days to design, assemble, and record their every move. In the end, only one will take home $5,000 and the title of Grand MAKHER. Yoshi, one of our judges, met with the makers this week to announce their first Maker Challenge.
Hello, Expedition Makers. Week 1, our theme is masking up, and the challenge is to make a mask or costume that taps into something that has been brought into the light during the pandemic.
Now let's see what our makers made.
Hi friends, I live in Boston. I'm a maker, artist. Originally started woodworking, then I've picked up all sorts of different crafts, leatherworking, paper craft and origami. So I guess I'm an all-around designer, hoping to challenge myself in a way that I haven't been challenged before. A very unique situation with this competition, where you have everything documented. Might get a little bit neurotic. We'll see where it goes. I am super excited about this first project. It has the potential to combine all my different crafting capabilities, and I have my very first very rough sketch right there. So this is a very busy, very eclectic concept. During the pandemic, we've all felt like we've had to put up barriers or defenses. A mask is technically modern day pandemic armor. It would be even cooler actually if all this would actually be able to fold down over the mask. That would be cool. KISS, K-I-S-S, keep it simple stupid. So 4 nights to do this. It's doable. So in terms of the mask, I can 3D print the mask overnight. The armadillo style design is a bit more tricky. So this is my favorite kind of paper. This is pattern paper. How silly does this look? Alright, here we go. Alright, we're getting somewhere. But like I said, the print ran overnight. Here it is. Isn't that cool? Alright, moment of truth. It is way too small! So, moving forward, I'm gonna go buy some leather. Toodles! So I went to the leather store yesterday, and I blew 75% of my budget for the whole show on this. But look how gorgeous this is! Totally worth it. La 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 la. So there it is, look at that. It might be a little too soft, but I think once I'm able to connect all the centers together, it'll come out looking really cool. 2 down, 2 to go. Blows my mind how cool that is. Okay, first week's challenge is done. And here she is. Look at that. My concept behind this was a heightened sense of self-preservation. To go even farther, literally into the metaphor, there's so many layers of protection. I thought it'd be really, really interesting to combine leather and wood together. So I, again, took the prompt of illumination quite literally in this case. Personally, I focus more on preserving my light. These dark months, I took a lot of risks in this project, and I did things I'd never done before in my entire crafting career. I'll say this always: research, sketching, design, and prototyping are the way to go.
Hi, my name is Rachel Jackson. I live in Somerville, Massachusetts. I'm a book artist, which means that I make books, I fix books, and I do things like calligraphy that have to do with words. If I were going to describe my practice in one word, it would be traditional-ish. For this challenge, I am going to be doing a mask and jewelry set that is themed around the Megillah, like this one. So this is just one sheet of parchment. One of the really cool things about the Megillah is at the end of the Megillah it says Vatichtav Esther, and Esther wrote. And so I think that looking at this line, I think it sort of reminds me that anybody can write their own history and be an active part in writing history. And I'm going to be using the traditional materials that I use to make a Megillah. Parchment, which is calf skin, ink, and feathers. We'll see where it goes. And I'm going to start out just by gluing these two pieces of paper together, a thicker and more stable piece of paper. I'm going to make a jewelry set that Esther may have worn with a scribal arts theme. And I'm going to heat up these tools to create patterns on the parchment. So this is a brass tooling wheel, and this is what I'm going to heat up to create the patterns. Have scans of the page of Megillah that I wrote that says Vatichtav Esther, and Esther wrote, which is really the line that I'm focusing on. When I was a kid, I was doing some beading on the couch, and I lost a needle, and then I went to the bathroom and came back and sat on it, found it in my butt. So now I'm more careful about putting needles away. This first week was really fun. A little hectic. I flew across the country, I quarantined, or am quarantining. So that makes this a little more difficult, but it was really fun, and I didn't anticipate, I had thought that I was going to use the quills and the feathers a lot more, and I didn't end up using them, but it was kind of wacky and kind of fun. Yeah.
Shalom Aleichem. My name is Noam, and I create Telasim. Telasim are Jewish prayer shawls, worn by Jews of all stripes. These striped garments are one of the many embodied rituals in our tradition. So I am just at the research point of my design process. I've got a lot of ideas swirling around, working with the idea of mushrooms and mycelium webs, the underground root network. So what we're pulling back is this myth of independence, and what we're revealing is actually how deeply interconnected and interdependent we are. And I think, what if I just start building? Like, what if I just got some cardboard and start messing around? Cardboard for making a hat. Look at me building stuff. Okay, so from here, we have to drape a lot of fabric. And this is what I'll be working with today. Go. Dye made from chestnuts. Got a rusted tin can, rust concentrate. This is soda ash. This I made months ago. Might smell really weird. So that's going to be the base of our dye, is this chestnut. But this chestnut dye is not enough, so I'm going to be adding in avocado skins, lots of them. The more dye material you have, the more dye stuff you have in a pot, the more saturated your color is going to be. Yellow onion skins make a really nice yellowy color. So the last thing I'm putting in this pot now is actually rusted nails. This is a bit of a controversial material. It's not the world's most safe thing to do, to dye with rust. So I'm gonna throw this on the stove. Timer is set. Let's take a look at how this dye pot is going. It's got its thick boil. Bring that down now. So the fabric has been rinsed through vinegar and then rinsed. And I'm going to start on what we call mordanting. Mordanting prepares the fibers to take the dye. All right, I gave my fabric a final rinse and it is going into our mordanting pot now. All right, the silk is done mordanting. It is prepared to go into the dye pot. The fibers are ready to take the color. Let's get to it. Wow, those colors. That's really something. I can live with that. So there is a really beautiful form of block printing done in India that involves laying down these overlapping tiles and banging them with your hand. So I'm giving that a try. And there is the front side. There's a lot more to a mushroom than what we see above the surface. Beneath a single mushroom cap is a nerve-like, blood vessel-like network of fungus called mycelium, stretching for miles, that serves as sustenance, communication, and connection to the whole forest. Similarly, during the pandemic, we've begun to realize how interconnected and interdependent we all are. The idea behind my project is that one of the things I've seen come to light during the pandemic is the myth of independence being debunked. What we need, we already have. We just need to learn to dig a little deeper and pour our energy into that.
My name is Mia Shom, and I'm based in Tel Aviv. I am a public artist, a mosaic muralist, a collage artist, and painter. I wanted to apply to Expedition Maker because I thought it would be fun to have different challenges. I thought I would, expand myself and challenge myself, and meeting a new group of artists and creators. Immediately when I heard the challenge for this week, the first thought that came to mind was a plant. If you think about it, that plants are cut from outside, they're brought inside. Just like us, we're inside, we're still changing, we're still growing, despite not being in our natural environments and where we usually go. So continue growing, continue changing, rely on others sometimes to take care of you, and bring happiness to other people's lives. So for myself, I've become a full-on plant lady. So when this challenge came about, I knew that I had to jump into plants because they've brought me so much happiness. So what I decided to do was be inspired by the plants in my house and create a mask mimicking those shapes. My takeaway this week as an artist is I realized I spent a lot of time doing something and then stepping back to look at it and then doing it again. I think this is a fast competition, and I need to not overthink everything and really loosen up and move fast. So that's what I'm gonna take with me to the next challenge.
I can't relate at all.
Hi, my name is Kayla Ginsburg, and I like to make things. I applied to be an expedition maker because I don't think I've ever seen any other opportunity that truly combined all of my skills. I'm also very excited to have the opportunity to challenge myself alongside other amazing artists. I think if I had to describe my art style in one word, it would be the details. Okay, so I had this idea to make like a movable mask that sort of told a story, and so I hope this isn't cheating, but there's a reason that I bought pre-made masks. Durability. Okay, so I'm basically trying to figure out a kind of paper that will hold ink so it won't bleed, but that I can roll to create like a rolling, it's kind of like a Torah. I love comics. I think that they're like such an amazing way to communicate all different kinds of information. And so I'm kind of trying to do that with this by using tiny little boxes. I think I kind of want to paint the whole thing black. Ooh, spooky lighting. The world's tiniest pen. Maybe now you can see it better. Well, I'm excited for final shot because I feel like so far you guys probably don't know what I'm doing. As soon as on the video call they told us the prompt, I had this idea to create kind of like a very short story across a mask. It's kind of like a little sort of image of kind of a floating, falling feeling. And basically I was trying to make a piece about sort of like the different ways that we started to connect to each other and maybe are missing connections and like trying to reach out and not quite grasping each other. So the initial idea came very fast, and then how it actually worked and the process of actually making it was a lot slower and harder. I definitely had some roadblocks. I think I wouldn't really change anything in retrospect, except I would have started a little bit earlier.
Hi, my name is Hadar Cohen and I'm a multimedia artist. I was really excited to be part of this opportunity because as a Jewish artist, I find that a lot of times my work is really solo, and I really was looking for a place to share my art with a larger world, be more in a conversation with community. The first thing that I do when I begin any process is that I pray. The way that I do that is through prostrating. Then I'll just give you a sneak peek at how I do it. So for me, that is just literally taking a moment of breath, of setting my intention, for asking for guidance and asking for support from higher power. Let's dive in. Performance art is really about how do I use my body as art? Well, if I'm using my body as art, what am I going to wear? For me, the answer is always velvet. I have a lot of velvet clothes, as you can see. And usually, I don't like to put a lot of jewelry, but I do like to wear earrings. Either these ones or these ones. I also have all these velvet scrunchies to go with all my velvet clothes. And for me, all of this like beautifying process is like seeing beauty as like a very deep spiritual quality. This is my hemp infused face oil. And then I just like to put something on the lips to just kind of bring it home. In this piece, I try to play with these concepts around what is hidden, what is revealed, the different costumes or the different fabrics that we wear, and how the body interacts with that. Just kind of as Purim holds this dual nature around what we see and what we don't see, or what is concealed and what is revealed. The pandemic also had, a lot of challenges and a lot of hardships for so many people and for society at large. And at the same time, it also uncovered some beauty too. The language of the body, I think, carries so much wisdom in it. So I would love to hear what it evoked in you, and thank you so much for watching.
Hi everybody, welcome to my studio. I'm Eli Kaplan-Wildman, chosen maker. I've never been on a reality show and I couldn't be more excited. If there's ever one reality show that I would want to be on, it is Making Judaica, which my friends don't really believe is a thing, but they're gonna see. Alright, we just got our first challenge. So I always think it's up to me to make it amazing, regardless of what I'm given, until, of course, I heard this week's challenge, which was to make a mask. So masks, aren't we supposed to be just at the edge of being done with masks? How can we create a mask that doesn't just obscure, a mask that also reveals? Should we do something quickly? Should we start working? Middle of the night update. I don't know which side is up. The first version in the trash, but it brought me to my next idea, which is something bigger, more clear, and hopefully the final idea, because we gotta finish. Gonna get it done. I wanted to create something that related the idea of the masks that we wear during COVID to the masks that we wear on Purim. So the story of Purim is about masks that are actually revealed and that show us something. And then the story of COVID is a story of where, again, we covered ourselves with masks, but it was a time of revelation. It was a time when we each learned something about ourselves. I know it's true for so many people, especially artists. Purim is about people taking their own fate into their own hands, and those people creating the change. V'na'afochu is us making the change. Okay, that's a wrap, folks. That is a wrap.
Hello everyone, I'm Yoshua Hooper, coming out of Colorado. Super stoked and excited to be here. I'm an illustrator, calligrapher, but I also teach art. So I'm involved with whatever I get my hands on to. I don't care, just give me something to put these hands on. When I first learned about expedition makers, I was just blown away. I was like, what? Whoever thought of this? Thank you. And my prayer is just that this will be an inspiration for the viewers to really search out their creative beings or to brace and really infuse them in forms of expressing their relationship to text, to identity, to the world around them using this platform. I'm really looking forward to this journey with you all, and tune in. We'll see you soon. As you can see, plaster, apron served me well. I haven't actually worked with plaster since probably elementary school. I was really thinking about it. It was a lot of fun. I feel like I have a long ways to go. A little worried about time, to be real. Feels good to breathe for a moment, but I'm not done yet. When I heard Yoshi give over kind of the mission or the task or the challenge for this week, I just got that rush of visuals, and I saw it, I saw moving components, and all these different ideas kind of came to my head. So I jotted things down real quick, and then I just went to town. So when Yoshi was giving it over, I started thinking of the three levels of the soul: nefesh, ruach, and neshama. And these are kind of layers. I kind of mentioned masks being very similar to layers of an onion or husks, klipa. And so this first outer layer kind of represents the fears, the frustrations, the anger, all the things that I was experiencing over COVID and still are to a degree. Well, sometimes you get caught up in it. As you can see, there's this gold part here, there's gold here, and I think about that moments of being broken down, of emunah or faith or light coming in and filling those cracks. And so this mask opens up, and in the inside I wrote, you are loved and loved, and you are light. And then the last stage is the neshama, and it's this mask here, which is all white. And on the forehead it says Kodesh, which kind of represents what was on the headband of the Kohanim. And I think about that concept of the light within every single person to kind of peel back those layers that don't serve us so that we can be who we are. If I had something to tell my future self in this competition, it's just to breathe, get a little bit better sleep, and go over your design a little bit better.
Like this? I think I got it.
Hi, my name is Hillel Smith. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, now living in Washington, D.C. I'm a graphic designer, illustrator, muralist, and that's really what attracted me to working on Expedition Maker. How can I take my aesthetic influences and then apply it to ancient Jewish subjects and then transform them into things that are contemporary and relevant? One of the things that I know I've been having trouble with, and that I think a lot of other people are having trouble with during the pandemic, is reading each other's emotions. It's really hard to tell what other people are thinking when you're only interacting with them over Zoom. We're all more or less wearing masks all the time. What I'm going to try to make is an emotion decoder to really understand what other people are going through, even if we can't quite make out what they're thinking. So here are a pair of 3D glasses. Happy, sad face revealed. So we've decoded the emotion. One of the garments that's specified in the Torah portion is the high priest's breastplate, all these gemstones mounted on this piece of gold, and allowed him to communicate with God and interpret the messages of God back to the Jewish people. I can make some kind of breastplate with all of my glasses, and then I can easily, when I'm wearing my breastplate, take off the appropriately colored glasses and try to figure out what their emotions are. So this is the Kohen Gadol breastplate, front and back. And this breastplate is the tool through which I can peel back the masks that everyone else is wearing and understand how they're feeling throughout this pandemic. It also works digitally. This also works when they need it most. This is really having fun with wavelengths.
Hi, my name is Alex Kramer. I am in Chicago, where I am a master's student pursuing my master's in social work, and I am also a knitter and a knitwear designer. I applied to Expedition Maker because I love what I do. I really like to work under prompts. I love to be given something kind of constricting that I have to work within. I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone, to creating connections with other creators who work in the Jewish sphere. The prompt, which was given to us, is creating a masker costume and having it relate somehow to the pandemic. So obviously got my wheels turning. So I decided to work with the cape idea. I have my little illustration that you can see. I'll be working on the base of the cape for now, knitting while I'm reading for class or knitting while I'm on Zooms for class, because that's how I get my knitting done. Okay, whoever is editing this has been watching now 2 hours of me just stockinette knitting. As expected, I did run out of yarn. I actually ran out of yarn to the point that I don't think I have enough yarn to finish the row.
So it's a sunny 20 degrees Fahrenheit here in Chicago, and now I'm headed to Michael's, a little 20-minute walk, and I'm going to buy a comparable black yarn. Okay, so as I saw on the website, yes, they do not have the yarn that I need in stock. The closest yarn that I think they have is this impeccable yarn, but I'm gonna get 2 of these.
So I'm gonna show what I have so far. The history looks good. It's a little wonky. The S is a little wonky, and I have a bunch of S's left, but it should look okay when it's on my back. I'm okay if it's just this. I'm hoping I can get the hood done today. But if it needs to just be this, I think that I can do that. This is the fun, inside world of knitting. Okay, we're on a 7-minute break from class. I'm just attached the hood to the cape, and I'm gonna try it on. I think the hood's perfect. I'm pretty happy with how this looks. I thought about legitimately making a mask component. Let's see. Maybe I'll make a rectangle. I'm going to try to do a mask. Why not? Okay. All right. Here it is. My final project. So, what I had intended to make was a cape. I wanted the cape to carry a lot of political symbolism. And then I wanted the front of my hood, across the front of my hood, I wanted it to say, "When will it be enough?" And I wanted that to be related to Black Lives Matter movement over the summer, where one young black boy being murdered should have been enough, and it wasn't. And hundreds should have been enough, and it wasn't. And so my question was, when will it be enough? Now, it's not exactly how it turned out. So I made the cape first, I made the hood next. I realized that the hood was 3 times bigger than it needed to be, comically big in a really unattractive way. So I ended up just using gold thread as a nod to the Torah portion this week. So that's what happened. For 5 of the 6 days that I was working on this project, I was like, this is awful. This is going to be the worst thing. I'm going home. And while I still feel that it could have been cleaner and it doesn't fully reflect quality of work that I like to put out, I'm really proud of what I did. And I hope everyone really likes it and understands what I'm going for.
Voting is now live. That's right, you've got the power. Vote and save your favorite makers because only 8 will be continuing on their journey to become the Grand MAKHER and winner of $5,000. The stakes are high, people. Now let's recap week 1.